Hello. Welcome back to the Generational Dr. Wealth Show, a personal finance show for doctors. And we have a special gift for you all out there. For the next 2 episodes, we are going to be hopping into the keynote speech that we delivered at the Hinman Dental Conference. And at the Hinman, we talked about step number 1 through 9 of the Doctor's Blueprint to Financial Freedom, as well as key statistics for doctors to keep in mind as we continue to build not only our financial future, but our financial foundation. I hope you all enjoy. The number one asset we have when it comes to building wealth is time. So the sooner we get to these 4 steps here, this framework, the sooner everything kicks into high gear. Step number 4, grow your freedom fund. Again, I know we want to get to investing. I know we want to invest in Bitcoin and Apple and everything. We'll get there. But before we get there, 3 to 6 months saved up. 3 to 6 months gives you the ability to say no. To walk into a clinic and they change your entire work schedule and say you're now working weekends and you're going to do the kind of work that you don't want to do. This buys you the ability to say no. You say, oh no, not me. When I signed up, this is the conversation we had. This is what we agreed upon. And if it works in your life, then yes, I can try my best to accommodate. But if it doesn't, you shouldn't have to flip your life upside down because of someone else's agenda. You should have the freedom to say yes or no. You went to school this long. You have to honor all that sacrifice. This honors it. This gives you the ability to now start saying yes as well. You know what? Just had a child. Maybe I do want to take a month off. Maybe I do want to take a sabbatical. When you have 3 to 6 months saved up, you have the options now. The ball's in your court. Now we can start getting into the fun stuff. Invest. This is literally step 5 of 9. This is in the heart of the plan. This is where everything kicks into high gear. These are the different ways that you invest. And like I like to say, I like to get to the averages. I like to figure out what does the average millionaire does. Now, based on statistics, they invest 15 to 20% of their income. So the question is, how do I invest 15 to 20% of my income? And now, where does it go? If I say everybody here again, I'll give you $100,000, go invest it. How would you invest it? Where would it go? For some of us here, we know exactly where to go because you already have a plan set up and you're working your plan. And for other people, it's like, you know what, maybe I need a little help. These are the 4 different ways that are most advantageous to building wealth. The first, when it comes to employer match, that's going to be key. If you work for a different office and they offer employer match, that's free money. And if you're self-employed, you can still give yourself the ability to put away more income through your own employer match plan. So for us at our office, our oldest employee is 25 years old. We have a very young staff. They like to have a good time. Oh man, they're all over the place. They're always saying, they're always doing this. I don't know what that means. And they're always saying, what's the stuff they say? It's the vibes. I don't know what none of this stuff means. I don't know what the vibes mean. So I knew in my mind, if I want them to be prepared for their retirement one day, I need to take it out of their hands. So we do employer match for them and we do profit sharing for them. And it's like kids you're saving for. They don't really know how much is in the account. I don't think they really care. If I can't use it, I don't really care. So every quarter we dump thousands into their accounts and with the eventual hope that when they look up at 65, they're going to say, I'm glad they were thinking about my future self. And that's how we need to be. We need to be putting funds away for our own selves to think about the future version of ourselves. For most people, the future version of yourself is a stranger. When you look in the mirror, that's the only version of yourself that you recognize. But you always need to be thinking about the future version. Number 2, when it comes to HSA, this is a health savings account. Now, this is a very useful tool, but it has to be used properly in the proper time. So for us, we're in the process of building a family. So my wife isn't on an HSA plan, but I am. Now, when it comes to the HSA, this is a 4 times tax advantaged account. Number 1, when you put the money in, you get a tax deduction on the federal side. As it grows, you don't get taxed. If it comes out for health-related purposes, you don't get taxed. And a lot of people say it's a triple tax advantage account. I like to say it's 4 because unless you're in California or New Jersey, you also get a state tax deduction. I mean, this is literally as good as it gets. This is the most powerful tool that we have available to us if you qualify for the HSA. If you don't, I like to just replace that with a brokerage account. Just put the funds aside. Next, the Roth IRA. For most people here, you're not going to be able to get money in through a Roth IRA directly. That's why we put backdoor. Again, all these different statistics here. I want you to talk to your professionals. The goal for here today is for you to be equipped. So now when you go back to talk to your professionals, you have the vocabulary to be effective. You're saying, hey, where am I on these steps? Do we have a 401k at our office? Are we actually using a 401k? Do I qualify for HSA? And last but not least, once you've done those three, we go back to our 401k and we get the rest of it maxed out. That's going to be absolutely key. Now, these are the statistics for the stock market over the last 150 years, 100 years, 50 years, 30 years, and 20 years. I'm here to tell you, again, I'm going to keep repeating it until you walk out of here thinking to yourself, you are in the top 95th percentile when it comes to intellect. You are the cream of the crop. We don't have to be spectacular investors. All we need are average returns. That's it. And we just have to be consistent. That's it. So if it's telling you, over the last 50 years, the stock market has brought back 12% return. Or over the last 20 years, it's brought back 11% returns. Over the last 150 years, 9% return. You do not have to be spectacular. Let the market do what it does. There's a lot of other people who are worrying about what's going on in the market. Let them worry about what's going on in there and worry about what's going on in your practice. Now, we talked about those 4 different ways to invest, and basically in those 3 different accounts. And for 2026, that's the max you can put into those different accounts. So I'm not asking you to put away hundreds of thousands of dollars, because to go from investing little to hundreds of thousands of dollars is a far jump. How do we get into the 50th percentile? That's what we need to think to ourselves. So if I can max out my 401k, max out my HSA, again, if you don't qualify for HSA, replace that with just a brokerage account. Then from there, a Roth IRA. If I can max those out, that's $36,000. Can we get to the point that eventually one day we can put away $36,000 a year? Sounds like a lot. If you just look just at the number itself. But let's break it down a little bit. How much is $36,000 a month? It's about $3,000 a month, right? How much is that a week? About $700 a week. So, okay. So how do I put away about $700 to $800 a week? How do I get to that point? I'm trying to figure that out. And that brings us to the power of a pano. Everybody here is pretty familiar with a Panorex, right? We all know what that is. All right. So the question is, can you invest 1 pano a day? Think about how much you get reimbursed for a pano. Think about working a 4-day, 5-day work week. If you can get to the point of investing $700 a week, you get to that point, it changes everything. Because when you're putting away those funds and you're doing it consistently and you're letting the market do what it does, it will literally change your entire financial future. Now, I want us to think to ourselves, if I invest a pano a day as a 35-year-old, you can change it based off your age and you can put it into a financial calculator to figure out for you, how much will that grow into across 30 years? Let's think to ourselves, $700 a week. What would that grow into? What would that grow into? We're going to do show of hands. How many of us think it's going to grow to $1 million? Okay, good. How many of us think it's going to grow to about $3 million? Good. How many people think it's going to grow more than $3 million? Good. Some people hedged their bets and voted on all 3. I like it. Winners win. I like it. Especially him right there. He voted for all 3. I see you. So I'm here to tell you that it grows a lot differently than what we might think. Does that seem like a pretty wild number to us? 1 pano a day. 1 pano a day. I'm not asking you to change your lifestyle. I'm not asking you to live on rice and beans like Dave Ramsey. I'm literally asking, can you put away 1 pano a work day? I'm not even saying 7 days a week. Per work day. So if you work 5 days a week, put a pano a day. $7 million. So I'm going to say, oh, inflation. Okay, let's cut it in half. Could you live on $3.5 million? Could we agree with live on that? And let's say you have a practice that you haven't even sold yet. We're not even counting the value of your home. We're not counting anything else. We're just talking about what 1 pano a day does for you. This is life-changing stuff here.
If you've been listening to the show, you probably heard us talk about the Doctor's Blueprint, the 9-step framework that helps doctors go from 6-figure debt to financial freedom. But a lot of listeners have asked the same question: how do I apply this to my own situation? That's exactly why we created the Dr. Wealth Blueprint Plan. It's a personalized financial roadmap designed specifically for doctors. We walk through your entire financial picture: your debt, insurance coverage, saving strategies, investment plan, and long-term goals. And then turn it into a clear step-by-step plan based on the doctor's blueprint. If you're interested, just text the word blueprint to 704-336-9313, and we'll send you the details and application. Again, that's blueprint to 704-336-9313 to learn more about the Dr. Wealth Blueprint Plan.
Can we make this commitment amongst us today? Can we commit to put away one panel a day? If you're already doing one panel a day, you're killing it. Maybe you need to change your average. Go a panel and a half a day, whatever it is. But for the vast majority of us, can I mentally put away one panel a day? And guess what? Taking that statistic in mind, imagine if you and your spouse put away one panel a day. What can you do with $14 million? And that's what I'm saying. Building wealth is not hard, but it is not simple. It's not the math that gets us. It's the actual habit of doing it. And once we get that habit in place, everything changes. So you got to think to yourself, okay, if I know one day I want to be very, very comfortable, again, how do I avoid skipping over average on my pursuit of excellence? Again, being type A drivers, a lot of us want to just skip past it and hey, how do I get to the end game? We get to the end game by doing the small steps correctly. That leads us to step number 6. So after we've done invest, this takes us to pre-save your expenses. So once you have now maxed out all of your accounts, you're going to probably have extra cash. What do you do with it? Now we start taking care of future expenses. Now, when I was in dental school, I was driving a 2006 Toyota Tundra, and I was like, if I'm going to be a travel dentist, I don't think this is the best car for this. I don't think this is going to work. It might explode. So I said, you know what? If I know I want to be a travel dentist, I need to start saving some now. And my father challenged me, said, if you want to buy a car, buy it cash. He said, but don't buy it when it's time to buy it. Start buying it now. Start putting money away into an account now, so when it's time to purchase it, you already have the cash to pay for it. So I started putting away a little bit a month. So when it finally came time, I actually bought my dream car, a Honda Accord. Amen. But it was a hybrid. It's a hybrid. I mean, this thing gets 48 miles per gallon, and we put over 100,000 miles on that in 3 years. Traveling all over the state of North and South Carolina. I still drive that car. I drive to my practice, having a good old time. And you know, it's kind of funny when your employees have a better car than you. But I love that Honda Accord. I mean, it has all the bells and whistles. It has heated seats, cool seats. I don't use any of it. She does. And then she turns it on. I'm like, turn it off. You're messing up my MPGs. So I love that Honda Accord. I'm going to drive it until I can't drive it anymore. That's for us. So we need to figure out, what are we going to know is going to be a future expense? More than likely, everyone here is not going to be driving the same car in 15 years that they're going to be driving today. So if you know that future expense is coming, why not start paying into that account now? Then it comes, if you know you want to buy a home, start putting away a down payment now. Has anybody ever heard of the doctor loan? Doctor loan? So the doctor loan is available to dentists, medical doctors, and veterinarians. And it basically takes away the down payment that you need for a home. You can get into a home for very, very little money. Now, the thing about it is, you got to be responsible with that. Because if you're not putting down a down payment, we can end up buying a house on top of a golf course. Not just buy a golf course, in the middle of a golf course. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure we're cutting the cloth according to our size. Then, that leads us to our 529. If you know one day you want your kids to go to college, and you want to be a part of that process to help pay for that, start investing in that now. The first thing I did when I got my son's social security number, I stared at it and I said, man, he's here. How do I start this 529? I remember contacting Kingsley, how do we get this 529 started? And that's the first thing I did with it. And the second thing I did was open up a credit card form underneath my name. So if we know we want to do these things, let's do them early. Now, that leads us to the financial fixtures and finishes. See, now, once we have our foundation in place, we're properly insured, we have cash stashed away just in case, we have nothing eating away at our wealth that's over 8% interest. We've already moved through our framework. We have wealth building in the background now. You don't even need to think about it anymore. Again, think about your patience. You don't need to be thinking about this. Everything I said on that second line can be automated. Sit down with a professional one time. You don't even need a recurring relationship. Sit down one time. Hey, can you help me set up these different accounts and just draft the money from my account? I don't even want to think about it. Now we get to the finishes. This is the part when we get here, this is where we get to make an impact. This is where things change in the way that we would like them to change. This is my favorite step of them all. This is invest in impact. Everybody's heard the term, put your money where your mouth is. I say, put your money where your heart is. Because when you get to this point, you have wealth building in the background automatically. There's a lot of other people who need help. We just said we make 3 to 4 times more than the average American. All of that can't be consumed by us. How do we give back in a way that's meaningful? So you need to figure out to yourself, what are you passionate about? You now have the opportunity to change things. And guess what? This doesn't even require money. When I was in dental school, we did Give a Kids a Smile Day. We got to go sit with elementary students and show them what a dentist was, because when I was coming up, I didn't know many dentists. So now they know being a dentist is a possibility. You were literally investing your time and impact. So for a lot of us, maybe you go from working 4 days a week to down to 3 days a week, and you give that extra day to creating impact in your community. When you get to this point, you have those options. So you think to yourself, what am I passionate about? What would I like to see change in this world? This is where you do that. This leads us to step number 8. You want to finalize your freedom fund. I know this sounds crazy, but 1 year's worth of income saved up. Now, we're not going to be skipping over investing to get to this step. That's why I said we have to do things in its proper place. We're going to get cash saved up, but we're not going to do it at the expense of our 401ks, of our kids' 529s, of purchasing a home, of purchasing a car. Life doesn't have to stop. But once you get into a nice solid place and your life becomes automated, now you have the chance to put yourself into a different space. 1 year's worth of income. And the reason, again, we say income is because for most people who are spending 50% of their income on expenses, understand if you have 1 year of income saved up, you technically have about 2 years worth of expenses saved up. What would you do if you didn't have to work for 2 years? You can just take time off and say, you know what, maybe I'm going to take 3 months off and get my mind right, or maybe I've always loved my practice, but I don't love the location. Maybe I'm going to sell and open up a nationwide search and figure out the next step from there. This gives you that option. This gives you the option to say, you know what, maybe I want to take an extended maternity leave, an extended paternity leave. I don't want to come right back. This changes everything. Step number 9, pay off your low interest student debt, mortgages. Now, again, a lot of us, because we don't know what to do, we take care of the low hanging fruit. Again, who here has heard a conversation of, should I pay off my student debt? Should I not pay off my student debt? We've all heard that conversation, right? We very rarely hear investing conversations. Because it's the low-hanging fruit. Because when we're driving this fast car, even though I don't have a destination in mind, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know how much gas is in the car, I don't have anything else set, but if I just keep my foot on that pedal, I'm going to be going somewhere. We got to move past just going somewhere and going to the right place. And that's why this is the last step. Some people might never get to this step. Maybe you know what, I'm going to stop at step 8 and I'm good there. And whenever that time comes, I'll pay all my student loans off at once. This gives you that option. So again, for a lot of us, it's important for you to sit down, write down all your different debts. Get a good understanding of where your debt load is. Is it tied up in your real estate? Is it tied up in student loans? Is it tied up in credit cards? And you need to put a percentage next to each and every one of them. That is how you put a priority on which comes first. I've seen people who have car automotive loans of 12%. 12%, subprime 12%. That falls into the foundation. Get that taken care of. But someone else might have a car loan at 3%. We're going to put it into this step. That's why I can't just come up here and say, pay off your car, pay off your house. I can't give prescriptive advice to everyone as if it applies to everyone. That's like me saying, if someone comes in with an infection, let's all give them amoxicillin. I'm allergic to amoxicillin. So that's what the financial advice has to be personal. It has to apply to you, because someone might go to a dental school that requires $450,000 of debt, and another dental school might require $150,000 in debt. Yet we're all getting the same advice. We have two different financial positions. So if I'm taking advice for you and applying it to me, that might put me into a bad space. So when it comes to finances, the goal is not necessarily to do what your neighbor is doing. It's to figure out where you want to go. Again, when we're driving this car and we don't know the destination, what we tend to do is look into the next lane over. And we say, you know what? If I don't know where I'm going, he or she, they look very confident, so I'm just gonna go where they go. So a lot of us end up in destinations that were never planned out by us. We go to where other people wanted to go. We buy a 7-bedroom house, and I don't even like big houses. I don't like cleaning houses. I don't like to do any of that. When we came back and we actually bought a home in Charlotte, it was a 600 square feet downtown condo, and I absolutely loved it. I had all the space we needed. We were amazing. And then my wife said, we need to move out. I said, why would we need to move out? She said, I'm pregnant. I said, we have a closet for the baby. I mean, we should be good. I still stand on that. I still think it could have worked. Our parents live 15 minutes away. We could have used some of their space if necessary, but hey, I did my part. We kept the condo for me. I get to enjoy it on myself, but she got the house for her, and we all live happily ever after now. So that's the thing. For me, I didn't want a lot of space. But for a lot of people, they see a big home and say, that's where I'm going. I need to get the huge, amazing home. Some people, listen, you might not even like cars, but since your best friend has a brand new Mercedes-Benz, I want a new Mercedes-Benz. If you want it for you, then perfect. Go get it. I love a Honda Accord. That's what I like. That's my flow and that's my flavor. I'd rather invest. I love investing. So I'm going to invest more than the average person because that's what brings me joy. So for each of us here, what brings you joy with your finances? When you spend, what puts a smile on your face? If you know you don't even like cleaning out your car, I don't even like washing it, I don't even really care about cars. When I come out the mall, I don't even know which car is mine. You don't care about cars. So why invest more in that? Figure out what you love to invest in and go very heavy on that. Figure out what you don't care about and cut that. Cut it. If you know you don't like eating out, don't spend a lot of money eating out. That's why I love finances. It allows you to put yourself in that driver's seat. It allows you to set the destination on that GPS where you want to go. Now, as we're here now, it's important for us to leave with a goal in mind. When we were in our business program and our masters, they kept telling us about SMART goals, SMART goals, SMART goals. When you work with a company, because we did like a lot of consultancies, they said you need to come up with SMART goals. You need to come up with a goal that is achievable, that they can get to, because the worst thing you can do is provide fantastic outcomes and the person you're providing for doesn't even realize that you're providing great outcomes. Isn't that why we create treatment plans? Because we're here today, and based on where you want to go, we're going to get you here. We're going to take care of all the cavities. We're going to go ahead and get your ortho in there. We're going to make your smile perfect. But what happens if you say, you know what? For $5,000, I can fix all your dental stuff. You get to the end, the patient's like, you know what? Actually, I wanted this. I didn't really want that. We create a plan so we know where we're going. It's the same way. If you've created thousands of treatment plans, have you created a plan for your life? Do you know where you're going? So let's get back to the first goal that we created within our practice. We said, you know what? We want to be in the 50th percentile when it comes to dental practice in our first year. Let's compare it to this. Can we say, is that a specific goal? I want to be in the 50th percentile, $725,000. We want to surpass that in our first year. Can we agree that that's pretty specific? Is that measurable? We know if we hit it or we didn't hit it, right? Is it achievable? Yeah, it's achievable. If 50% of dentists do it, it's achievable. Next, is it relevant? Absolutely yes. Lastly, Time bound. We put 1 year. We want to hit this. So again, when you leave the Hinman, you need to sit down, take time for yourself. What is a SMART goal you want to achieve? What do you want? We still have the rest of Saturday to go to vendors, to go to different workshops, for you to actually achieve what you're trying to achieve. But if you don't know, how do you know if you actually got it? The Hinman can put on the best conference the world has ever seen, but if you didn't know why you came here, you might leave and not even be fulfilled. Has anybody ever seen a movie or come out of a conference and you ask somebody and one person said it was absolutely fantastic, and the other person was like, expectations weren't in line. When you go to an action movie, you expect action, right? You go to a romance movie, you expect romance. So if you go into a romance movie expecting action, you're like, I didn't have enough action. Did we have the right goals in mind? And that's what a lot of us do. But I really implore us, what is going to be your SMART goal? What do you want before the end of this weekend? What would make this weekend a success? We get back to the same question. Who here can commit to saving one panel a day? Who can commit to saving one panel a day? This changes everything. But before we get to this, let's not forget the steps that we talked about. We have 9 steps to do with your next dollar. Again, if you came into $100,000 tomorrow, where would you be on those 9 different steps? Will we be investing to the stock market before we are properly insured with our disability coverage? Will we be purchasing a home before we have life insurance? Let's do things in the proper order, because when finances are done in the proper order, it just feels better. Everything works itself out. I implore us, what is our SMART goal, and can we commit to one panel a day? This is our contact information. Again, we go through the 9 different steps on the podcast here. You can scan that QR code there. That will give us the Google link, and then from there we can send you the 9 steps, as well as if you have any other questions on anything there, you can send it us directly there. And we're always answering financial related questions. We're continually building out just professionals around us to be able to equip our dental community, because when we take care of one another, it puts us into a good space. My mother always said that everybody is equipped here to have their own lecture. There is something that you're an expert in that I need to be sitting in the audience getting from you. So the question is, how do we bring that out? How do we get what's already stored up inside of us and bring it to the forefront? So it's an absolute pleasure speaking with you all today. Thank you for your time. This show is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended to be financial, legal, or medical advice. We are not acting as your personal financial advisors. The strategies discussed are general in nature and may not be appropriate for your individual situations. You should always consult your own qualified financial, tax, and legal professionals before making decisions about your money. The host and guests are not responsible for any actions you take based on the information shared on this show.